Alright. We are here with Koma, Cosmos Serpent. It's been a while since I've played this one. It is probably one of my favorite commanders. I don't really ever see anyone play it in the command zone. I can't say it's the strongest thing to do. It is uncounterable. And there's been kind of enough new cards since last I've played where I think it's worth trying it again. Most particularly Mana Drain. Mana draining even so much as like a 4-drop can give you enough mana to cast this, right? Or I guess Mana Drain can only pay for up to 3 of the mana here because it doesn't produce colored mana, so up to 3 is useful for your commander, and that's just good enough. I mean, this card is stupid busted as is anyways, might as well run it. I don't think we had the One Ring at the time. That's a pretty good card to have, right? It gives you kind of another way to win the game, other than just casting Koma. But what I really like about this is your command zone is kind of where your big giant threat is, and it's pretty difficult to deal with it. Now, there is a window of opportunity with removal spells, right? It doesn't dodge exile, but hard removal, like a Murderous Rider or something, will kill this before you make a 3/3, which is the problem. But, you know, that's sometimes just going to happen to you anyways. That's why there's not a lot of other really big, scary things in here, just because of that. I don't even have Tooth and Nail, or the 4-mana Tooth and Nail, whatever it's called. Virtue of Strength, I don't believe I've ever played this. I do like it a little bit more than the Treant, or whatever it is, the big tree that triples your... Nyx Bloom Ancient. I can't remember. I can't believe I remember that. Nyx Bloom Ancient is kind of the same thing, except it's a creature. This is not a creature. They're both enchantments still, but this is not a creature. Also, sort of has a side thing going with the sorcery adventure there. But this tripling your mana is pretty good. Now, it triples your mana once you're at 7 mana. So unless I'm doing insanely explosive things with 21 mana the next turn, I don't know what this is doing. But I haven't played it before, and we're playing Mass Manipulation, and that could wind up being hilarious if I have 21 mana. Actually, with that being said, I probably want Solve the Equation, because tutoring for specific spells once you untap with 40 bajillion mana is a pretty good idea. I think I actually like that card. I don't know what I'm going to take up for it, but I think that's about it. Scute Swarm might not stay in here. I had Pock in here for a second, but I took it out. I don't think this is really a Pock deck. But Scute Swarm really doesn't need that many additional lands to kind of become insane. But 1 land a turn is not... This is not a Pock level threat like it is with, here. It doesn't... I'm not producing a ton of additional land drops every turn cycle. Now, I can maybe get 1 or 2, like more than 1, I should say. I don't know if it's on average more than 1 land a turn from all these like ramp spells, right? But if it is, I guess I like this. If it isn't, I don't. Honestly, with that in mind, I guess we're going to take it out. And we'll just see if we end up getting more than 1 land drop a turn. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's below 2, and then I don't really like Scute Swarm as much. So, yep. Alright, let's try it. Let's roll. Alright, first opponent is Pock, after having just said it got nerfed. Alright, well, this is a pretty good hand against Pock, except we're on the draw. But, alright, can't have everything. Do I lead with a blue mana? I don't think so. And if I do, it's probably just a blue-green land anyways. Oh, uninteractable mana ramp on turn 1. And they're on the play, so chances of winning kind of got a colossal smack in the face. I want Breeding Pool. My life total is irrelevant. I guess I play this instead of Delighted Halfling. My opponent doesn't have any counter spells. It's essentially the same thing. If my opponent could cast Pock right now, the game would be over. Play you, play layer, swingies. Force them to... Yep, keep them honest. Just gotta keep them honest. Alright, look at that. Opponent just doesn't want to keep playing. That's funny. I was basically dead. Alright, so our commander is not counterable, but they have a lot of exile effects. I gotta keep in mind this does hit their commander. And yeah, alright, 2 answers to their commander is probably enough to try to make this work here. Oh, hey, look at that. For it was I that had the surveillance. No mana rock. Wow. No. Layer of the Hydra probably shouldn't be in here. Yep, I got nothing for that. So, this would have been nice 10 years ago. I guess I play this and pay 1? No, let's just do this. Yeah, I think I'm going to take out Layer of the Hydra. Every time I see it, I'm just like, I don't know why it's in here. Opponent just doesn't do anything. Okay. Wandering Emperor. Alright. Does it exile my Llanowar Elves? I don't even know if that's important. It probably is. It probably makes sense to do that. No, they just don't. I guess they could do it on their turn as well. But at this point, they probably will not do that. Wow. They cash in the Wandering Emperor just to kill Llanowar Elves? Seems kind of insane to me. But, who knows? Who knows? Who really knows? Yep. Alright. That was pretty good draw, because I didn't have anything else I was willing to do. So I kind of like this draw here. So I'm kind of hoping they tap out this turn. It does mean I don't need to dodge the Ristic Study. I can pay for it at the same time. I can make layer a 2/2, so it doesn't block. Okay, opponent doesn't want to play Magic. Fair enough. Let's play lands. And do I play this? If I do, I'm not playing anything else. Which kind of feels bad. Unless I let my opponent draw off the Ristic Study, which just feels bad. So I don't know what I do here. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna tuck the Ristic Study? I can just recast it. They could just scry it away. I don't know, let's find out. Ulamog's a good hit. Uro's a good hit. I guess I'll take Ulamog. My opponent will know about it, but that's probably just fine. They could scry the Ristic Study away. I don't even know if they want it at this point. I have a lot of mana. Alright. We beat our opponent. They baby raged, and I guess they didn't like playing against counterspells, even though they're playing just guy controls, so they couldn't taste... They didn't like to taste their own medicine, and baby raged. Love it. 2-0. This is probably a very good matchup, like a very, very good matchup, just because my opponent cannot, well, I mean, I did draw this, but if I didn't draw this, I can shut down their commander a lot with my 3/3s, and that's pretty bad for them. It's actually incredibly bad for them. I think it's so bad that I'm willing to do this here, and then just play something else instead. So I'll play you and you. I think this is just better. I don't even need witness protection for their commander. I really don't think I do. Maybe I do, and I regret my whole everything ever, but as it stands, I do not. I also have a wash away for their commander anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more land I can cast this. So I can Archdruid Charm it. Must be blocked this turn if able. Okay. What? I guess it gets rid of my mana dork. Sure. Yeah, I guess. Seems like a lot of resources. Just to do something that I wouldn't. Yeah, that didn't make a lot of. I don't. Okay. Feel like I came ahead out on that. I mean, the mana dork is still pretty valuable, and I did need to draw a green source to actually get the next land, but I did. If I didn't, I probably would crack the Mind Stone, because again, I need triple green at the very least. Okay, well, we're not scared of the blue spells too much, but that's not really a surprise. This might be a new thing for the opponent. I saw them read my commander. That's funny. Rhystic Study could be pretty useful. Oh, maybe not. Maybe there's a discard spell. Hopefully it's not a Ragavan, but if it's a discard spell, I guess we're in trouble. It's not. It's neither. Okay. Alright. I guess I'll Windmill Slam Rhystic Study next turn. It is pretty good if it resolves. Okay, now that they didn't cast anything, I'll just throw this out here. Again, countering ramp is pretty miserable. Opponent agrees. I need blue. Maybe it's a Bowmasters. Oh, who knows? I guess it's not a Bowmaster. Field of Ruin? What? Okay. Rhystic Study at this point, I guess. I mean, sure. Just snap resolved. I'm not going to risk Uro missing a land. Think that would be a bad idea. Okay, sure. I think I'm in a favorable position here. Who knows? I guess I'll cast Cultivate. Yeah, get 2 islands. I have 4 of each basic. Look at that. Just like Mark Rosewater intended. Look at my mana. That's the best mana base I've ever seen. Oh, I love it. So we're at 4. I want to draw 1 more land for this to hit Ulamog. So I'm at 4. Yeah, which means I can only get 1 land off of this if I want to do that. So I think that's worth it. I think that's worth it. I'm just going to get 1 land. So then Settle gives me, it gives me Ulamog. And I don't really need more mana than this anyways to play Magic the Gathering. Look at all these basics, dude. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I'm in paradise, these basic lands, dude. Absolute paradise. Love to see it. My opponent went to literal discard instead of playing Magic. So they are shields. They are Giga Shields. We don't even care if you counter this, so boop, boop. Take all the black mana. Yep. So my opponent felt locked in playing like back and forth, and the problem, this doesn't happen too often. This is an excellent example. When you're playing a control deck against a ramp deck, it does not feel too ideal to ever counter ramp spells, because then you're going to run out of gas, and then your opponent's going to inevitably play lands every turn, or somewhat, and still cast the big things, but now you don't have any counter spells because you spent them all on the ramp spells. My opponent did what I would do, is probably ignore the ramp spells, because if you don't, then you're going to run out of gas for this. But the problem is, some of these big scary threats just completely annihilate you, like this. You can still counter it, and I would make the argument this game might not be over. They obviously had a counter spell. Why else are they doing this? It's just countering Ulamog when you lose 2 lands feels terrible. However, again, it is still possible to play a draw-go game and just redevelop your lands. It is very hard to do that, but it's possible. If this was a different threat, like my actual commander, they could obviously have a removal spell and be totally fine. I don't even have a 3/3, and I have to spend, what, 9 mana to recommit that, and that'd be kind of hard. I do have a negate. I would have had a negate if I went for this instead. But if they had a 2 mana removal spell and a counter spell on top of that, they were totally fine. So Ulamog was just like the backbreaker right there. But it's just not a good matchup when you're draw going against ramp, doing nothing in the intermediate. Oh well. So no Uro mana next turn. I really wish this was any other land ever right now. Well, for the most part. Probably leaving up Essence Scatter. Okay, that was a huge draw. That means I can play Magic in this way and not feel too bad about it. Essence Scatter being very useful right now. I don't know how you don't cast Chatterfang. Seems kind of insane to me to not cast your commander. Your whole deck kind of needs it in play. There you go. Opponent had to think about it for some weird reason. Alright, look at that. We automatically win. One answer to Pock, not the best one, and then nothing else after the fact. These are pretty decent, but not amazing. I think I need to do substantially better than that to play Magic against this. I'd rather not fetch because I have this, but I do need mana, so maybe I just don't have a choice. Kalani Garden's a really weird one. I don't know what's going on with that one. That's really weird. Haven't seen that in Pock in, like, ever. That would have been nice last turn, but I guess I'll take it this turn anyways. Still no Brainstorm. Pretty slow ramp from the Pock player. Guess I pass now. So I can Brainstorm and then Harrow, but I'll probably just Tails End. Oracle. Let's put away you and you. And then get rid of this, get 2 islands. Do I counter Oracle? I probably do. Just because I have 2 counter spells. It probably makes sense to do this. One ring is pretty decent. Alright. I'm in a probably really good spot, but who knows. I don't want to tap down lands. I'll let them just cast whatever. They can't cast Pock, I don't think. Activated abilities. No, they can. Yeah, they can if they wanted to. Okay, that's a little unusual, but sure. Don't hate it. Still kind of an interesting sequence. Don't know if I would have done that. Alright, swingies, yep, no reason not to. I don't care about the Delighted Halfling dying. This Kalani Garden, I mean, it could block a lot of damage. At this point, I will probably tap lands here. I will at least tap the, I'll at least tap the big one. So they don't have that mana. That seems pretty useful here. And then from here, solve the equation. Just wins the game with an extra turn. It's not really anything they can do. There's no green thing here that would save them. That is not it. I'm just going to show my opponent. Yeah. Alright, so I've completely bullied Pac into oblivion every time I've played it so far. I mean, it's only been twice, but a little Redonkalonk. Ragavan? Turn 1 Ragavan on the play. Opponent is talented, but we have the blocker. Assuming it works. No, it doesn't. Look at that. Get wrecked. I actually top-decked it, too. If I didn't top-deck Ragavan. Look at that. I won, and I wasn't the one playing Ragavan. See? Ragavan ends the game instantly, either way. So stupid. Such a stupid card. Whatever. Get wrecked. Get wrecked, dummy. Should have played around it. It's so good, my opponent just kept their entire hand on it. Alright, so this is the first time we've seen Emodi. And Emodi is doing what I do, but 46 times better. Don't think I can beat this. I'm on the play with a 1-drop, and that is what I basically need to stay in this. The rest of my lands are tapped, which is very bad, but it is what it is. Okay, that helps. So next turn one of these, and then the other one, and then... Yep. Okay, that was also a good draw. It means I don't have to lose the goose. It's also a good draw. I'll send it. Send a message. Oh look, Emodi with a 4-mana ramp spell. No way. No way, dude. No way. That I currently cannot shut down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can cast my commander next turn and hope it's good enough, but now that I can, my opponent will generate D-Spark, because why wouldn't they? No, they generated Crozen Grip and then got rid of it. Fair enough. I'm going to play an untapped source, just keep the goose token around. Shutting anything down doesn't feel like it makes sense, other than my opponent's key to the archive? Does that make sense? I feel like it does. Does this make sense? I don't know. I feel like it makes sense. It doesn't stop Emodi, but it stops, like, whatever else my opponent might do. So, who knows? Alright, so I can only really do that once. We know Hullbreaker Horror is not in the hand. I don't really want to shut down Key of the Archive multiple times. I feel like that's just not getting me anywhere. I also don't think kicking this is better than leaving up a... Yeah, I don't think kicking this makes sense. I'm just going to cast it. Yep. I can't Castle Vantress this turn anyways. This 1-3 can't really swing, so let's do that. So they have 5, they'll have 6 if I don't tap down the Key to the Archive. I just don't want to tap it down. I just don't want to tap it down. Right. It's probably right, but it doesn't shut down, like, a lot of what my opponent can do anyways. They also have a searing desire to tap it anyways. Okay, good position to be in. Yep, look at that. It actually panned out to be pretty good to actually do that. So I make another 3/3 on their second upkeep, and I would just tap this down again. But yeah, with they do not have counter spells, and we do, because Emodi can't run counter spells. You'll cascade into them and look like an idiot. So that actually ended up mattering. I didn't think it would. I thought we would be in the back foot, and I think if we played like 10 games, I'm probably winning like 4 or maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 of them. I don't think it's favorable, but in this sequence it just was. We got Koma out quickly, and we're gonna start beating them down pretty fast. Wow. Okay. And of course I had nothing like this. So Rakdos the Muscle doesn't get around Witness Protection, nor does it get around Counter Magic, other than discard spells. So that's pretty cool. Let's play you. Okay, Blood Tithe Harvester, that's interesting. So next turn, beside you, Arcane Signet. Or do I do Arcane Signet? Nah, it's definitely Arcane Signet. Yeah, I can't do that. Alright, guess it's not that anyways. Well, whatever my opponent takes gives me the choice of doing the other thing that they didn't take. Blood tokens. Alright, so beside you is my land. This into Gwena. Now that I don't have mana drain. Don't really care at all about Rakdos the Muscle in any way. Opponent doesn't care either. They're more scared of my mana dork than they are playing a 5-mana 6/5 flying trample. Play Tamio, pick up Gwena or Mana Drain? No, let's just name Time Warp. Or do I name Time Warp or do I just pick? No, we're just doing this. And we're passing. Yep. So bounce one of their cards with this Rift? No. Play Koma. What does Rakdos do? Play cards off the top. Let's pick up Mana Drain? That feels really stupid. Does it? No, it doesn't. Does it? I feel like it does. I think Rhystic Study's better here. Just because my opponent needs to sort of keep all their mana, like, every turn ever. I think what I'm gonna do here is just Cyclonic Rift anyways. I'm just gonna Cyclonic Rift them. I don't really agree with what they just did, but sure, they did it. They got a mana rock and a land. I just don't see the appeal of this. I mean, actually, if they steal my stuff, it goes in my hand with this Rift. And they're going down creatures. They actually just got rid of lethal. Oh, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Alright, yep. No, I just take it. I'm literally just going to take this. I am so not concerned with what you're doing. Could be wrong, but oh, too late now. I'm just so not concerned. Okay. I can respond to this. Yep. Like I said, doesn't matter. I don't care. Unless they had Lightning Bolt, it doesn't matter. Like, they can do whatever they want. Unless they kill me in one big chunk, nothing has haste or anything. It's all going back to hand. I get my Power Stone back. They keep my land, but Rakdos the Muscle, what is it going to do now? I have Witness Protection up. Tamio ticking away, probably getting closer to Uro. But most importantly, I have a giant Serpent that my opponent needs to spend a whole turn trying to kill before they can even continue to develop. So this is just so easy. So easy with the Cyclonic Rift. Okay, it's literally Pock for the 15th time today. Kind of putting me to sleep, but I guess I'll play it out. They've all had 1-drops against me so far. Every single Pock deck has had a 1-drop. All 15 of them. Nope. So I have triple green with a Druid, Archdruid Charm. Probably just find a land so I can get to Koma faster. Don't really know what else I should do. Yeah, it's just gonna, I'm just gonna do that. That has to be better than, solve the equationing for a counter spell that probably won't even work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, they did not cast Pock this turn. That's a little strange to me. Oh, no, no it's not. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm a blue deck. They respect the counter spells and all that jazz. Wow, nothing to utilize with the mana is pretty huge, too. So we get a land. It can be kind of any land. I don't really have any special ones. I guess one of these is fine. Alright. Well, I have Pock and my opponent just has nothing, really. Feel good about my spot, but that's pretty easy to change. I could make them play a land before they cast Pock, but I don't know how useful that is. There's not a lot of things I'm scared of on the crack, like the follow-up of Pock, like right now. That is certainly not it. I will probably take an extra turn right now. I cannot take a second extra turn because I don't have any good cards here. But I do have, like, Cyclonic Rift and stuff. It's not quite lethal. Oh, wait. Mass Manipulation is just stupid. Never mind. For 1. Alright. Well, I beat Pock again. Okay. I really like this deck. I think Koma is a pretty good commander. I'm surprised I don't see more of it. I played predominantly against Pock, and it felt pretty favorable. I don't like, actually I really don't like, the polarization of Cavernous Souls and Delighted Halfling. Those kind of shut down my counter spells, and every time a Pock player had one of those, I probably lost, and every time they didn't, I probably won. It's very weird. I don't really like that. I know it's like an auto win against like mono counter spell decks when you have Cavernous Souls and stuff, which is like whatever, it keeps it in line, I guess, in an extremely polarizing way. And we can still beat Pock by just making a bunch of 3/3s. They can never really swing at you, and then you just kill them later. And it doesn't matter if they even play Crater Hoof, because you can just tap everything down. And stuff like that. In Ulamog, you can tap it down. You can just tap down everything and make enough 3/3s where it's not usually a big deal, but sometimes it's not good enough still, right? I just like blue-green. I think blue-green is usually very strong. It's not as strong as something that Keenan likes to be doing, obviously, but I really like how it plays. You just play like blue-green, Value Town. It was sort of like how Tamio would play. And then later in the game, you just have a giant Koma. You could probably play less less ramp spells and more counter spells, and maybe some bounce spells. Not too big of a fan of those, but definitely more witness protections, like Frogify, just to shut down certain strategies that you sort of see all over the place. There's a lot of commanders, namely Pock, that feel pretty solid to shut down, although Pock sometimes doesn't care when you do remove Pock's ability. It just doesn't really care. It's just playing mono green ramp with a slightly less large Pock. So yeah, I think this should see more play than it does. I'm surprised I don't see Koma in the command zone that often. I think the last time I did see it was like a month ago, and I beat it pretty quickly. It just kind of fizzled out and died. Or I was doing something where I didn't care about it. But I really do like this. This is a big commander for me, and I would recommend it. It definitely got some new cards, too. There's 3 ways that it could look. Like, this is not super tightly tuned. I could definitely alter this a little bit. I don't even know how I felt about Gwenna. The Explosive veggies, maybe I didn't need this many. Well, we had 5. Yeah, there's 5 of them now in that you can play. Maybe you don't need all of that. It might be a bit overkill. Especially when you have 3 mana options. And just more 2 mana options in the form of a bunch of mana dorks. Which I'm not too keen on, but they do come in earlier, and that's just adds a little bit more consistency and all that jazz, right? Especially with counter spells, going from 2 ramp into 4 ramp doesn't leave counter spells up in the early turns, right? So you could play cards like, is it Gwen? Not Gwen. The blue green Gretchen, like a Gretchen style deck. If you want to be more on that, then you could run more instant speed interaction. And you would definitely have an even better matchup against stuff like Pock, but I already think it's pretty... Maybe it's just 50-50 and I just happened to win more than I lost. But if you want to be more into the Gretchen style of a blue-green, you certainly could do that with Koma. I just wanted kind of a ramp style counterspell thing going, and I liked it. So it plays very differently from Emodi, because Emodi cannot run counterspells, or X spells, because you would look like a fool if you hit them on your Cascade trigger. You can run the new Cascade card, Discover something. You could play this because counterspells, Discovering is not Cascade. Discover goes to your hand, and I kind of like this card. I don't know if I love it. I'm kind of like in the middle about this one. I don't know what I would even take out in this kind of thing. Like Rhystic Study feels better than this, so I don't know. I don't know about that one, but it's possible. I'm just saying there's a bunch of options. You could run Emrakul in here, right? It is, again, an auto win because people just concede to it instantly. So you could just run Emrakul in here. It's not impossible to cast it. It's a little hard to discount it, especially when I'm playing Uro and Tamiyo, picking stuff up out of my graveyard. And if I ever do decide to run Treasure Cruise and, what's the other one? What's the other Delve card that's, like, dumb? Dig Through Time? Yeah, Dig Through Time. If you run these, then you probably are even less on that, but I wasn't, so maybe I should have been more on Emrakul. Who knows? But, yeah, I like this. I liked how it played. The One Ring never came up, and there were quite a few games where I didn't get any 1 minute ramp spells, which is funny because Pock always had it. I just didn't get as many as I would have liked here, and there were some awkward overlaps with Kami, a Boreal Grazer, and Growth Spiral and Explore, where I ran out of lands to play, and then these look kind of weird. So you do want a fairly high land count. I think we were at 42. Yeah, we were at 42. Maybe want more than that for these, but that doesn't mean that these are bad. It just means you don't want both in the same game, and which is probably fine. They're probably good enough to still keep. I am not as high on Explore and Growth Spiral as I used to be. They do at least replace themselves, and I do like Growth Spiral being an instant, so I don't have to do it on my own turn. But there's a fair amount of games where I kind of wish it was almost anything else. Even like Opt, or some kind of 1 minute blue cantrip, felt sometimes better than Explore and Growth Spiral, so it's really up to you and what you think. You got to consider how many blue sources you're running, because you still always want to lead with green. You never want to have a turn 1 island. It's always going to, on average, at almost every game, you would always be happy to expect turn 1 forest into some kind of green spell on turn 1 or turn 2 to really capitalize on that. Even with counterspell mana drain, it is still stronger to lead with green, 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 and then blue, blue later, because that's just kind of the nature of playing green in the first place. So, all right, let me know what you thought about this. I love it. Would recommend. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.